What is President Trump's next move here?
Well, I'm in Riyadh for whatever that's worth. I arrived here Sunday almost when the drones arrived. I'm not sure the Saudis will give me another visa given my timing. But I would say that President Trump is going to kind of hit pause here. It's interesting to consider that the most hawkish advisor he had was John Bolton, who I think would have been pushing hard for an aggressive response here. So the timing is interesting, if not propitious, that he departed when he did. Right now, pizza boxes are flowing to the Pentagon where they're generating options for the president. And those will kind of run the spectrum from relatively low-level increased surveillance, gather up the allies, condemn in the UN Security Council, deploy the evidence. But pretty soon he'll see options like use military force, probably covertly initially, using special forces, using stealth, using cyber attacks, and then there'll be some pretty aggressive options that are put in front of him. I agree with the general tenor of the conversation thus far that the president will be a bit of a speed break on doing anything precipitous here, but certainly there'll be a day or two of quiet. We'll get a damage assessment from the Saudis. That's when the next set of moves will really start to unfold.
Admiral, clearly we've been relatively close to military action in recent months anyway. What percentage chance would you say that even those stealth attacks would take place in the coming weeks?
I'd say at this stage there's a 10 to 20% chance there would be covert action of some kind. Certainly there will be those around the president who are saying, look, you've got to respond. I mean, if you look at this drumbeat of escalation from Iran, at some point, there has to be an international response to an attack on the international energy system. But I'd still call that in the 10% range, maybe 20%. I think the odds are still quite high that cooler heads will prevail here. The key, however, is Iran is not going to stop this behavior until there's some kind of a renegotiation of an agreement, because the sanctions are really hurting them. And the fact that Iran has taken as dramatic a step as this attack will indeed push the Europeans more toward the U.S. position. I don't think this is good tactics or perhaps even worse strategy by the Iranians.
So you're in Riyadh. So tell us a little bit about the reaction there. And I mean, this is a strike at the heart of Saudi Arabia's oil industry, and how you expect leadership to respond.
Everybody I encounter here, and I've been having a series of pretty senior meetings, is very resolute. They're very measured. They are still continuing to try and build the case. I think there's little doubt here that the Iranians are behind this. And I think you will see a response, but the Saudis will want to do that very much in concert, not only with their own alliance structure here in the Gulf, but with the United States. And I think that is why we're going to take a couple of days to really put those options together, examine the evidence. We really want to have a tightly suitcased presentation to make if we're going to take dramatic action.
Admiral, to what extent has this attack exposed Saudi weakness at key sites, whether military or oil-related? And do you think there's going to be more attacks that they can't defend?
I think it exposes a very significant weakness in global energy. I mean, I would say really this could happen to any nation that has enemies. And frankly, it's not going to be big ballistic missiles that are attributable. It's going to be a new kind of strategic triad of cyber attacks, drone attacks, and possibly special forces. Those three things, I don't think any nation is particularly well prepared to defend itself against. And I think you'll see a lot of capitals scrambling to look at this and to think about better defensive systems against those three things. The Saudis are very well defended against conventional attack, very well defended against ballistic missiles, but not so much against this, and they're in the same boat in that regard as almost any other nation.